what's up, everyone? My name's Amos Benjamin. I'm friends of Pia and Jason's, and man, just truly honored to be asked to do this. But obviously, everybody knows that we're here to celebrate a life. And when I think about Jason, I think back to the first time I met him and shook his hand, and he was just, this guy that's just full of life. I mean, big old sucker too. I mean, I was just like, dang man, I remember one of the things we first talked about, I was like, what are you doing in the gym? But he just had this just electric personality, super heartfelt guy. And as I continue to, talk to him and interact with him, social media happens, then I see like what kind of husband he is, what kind of father he is. Just the outpouring love and appreciation that he had for his family, and how much he spoke about Pia and the kids, and my wife and I are planning to have a family. So it was such a good, warming conversation for me to feel from him, that this is what fatherhood looks like when you do it the right way, in my opinion, because just watching him interact with those kids was really, really special. But I wanted to take a few minutes, because I know with death there's all this question, and I remember losing my brother overseas in Afghanistan, and just the overwhelming amount of hurt and pain that caused me, and then losing my father a short time after, and again just all the pain that I was feeling from that, and not knowing what route to take next. But in that I found God, and just the spiritual healing that I had to do from things in my life that had happened all the way up to present day stuff, was lean and trust him that his timing's perfect in everything he does, and that no matter what, us as believers, and obviously knowing Jason and Pia are believers too, like this is all just temporary. There's gonna be a party at the gates one day. And I just wanted to just kind of touch on some scripture. There's a few verses that Pia and I had spoken about on the phone, and just really shed light on the just amazing steps that you take when you leave this earthly form and head off into eternity. And these are verses pulled from the Bible that are interpreted to happen as soon as you end your natural life and head off into eternity. It says in Luke 16:22, angels usher your soul to heaven. I don't know what that feels like, but I can't wait. You immediately enter God's presence, which is 2 Corinthians 5:6-8. So you're ushered with these angels straight to the Father. And then Luke 16:19-31 is you're conscious and in command of your thinking, feeling, speech, and memories. So I mean, it's not that this life just is totally gone and like boom, here we are. I mean, you still are going to understand the transition that you just made from earthly form to eternal life, and that is so powerful. And then in Revelation 4-5, you participate in a magnificent worship with angels and believers before the throne of God and Christ. So I mean, imagine you're surrounded by angels that usher your soul, and then you get to praise our Creator. Revelation 6:9-10, you're aware to some degree of activities and events on earth. I mean, so it's not that you forget, your loved ones back here. I mean, there's so much more to this understanding of what life after this is. And then Luke 9:28-36, you will recognize and communicate with believers who preceded you to heaven. And I think that's the most important thing, is this is temporary. We get to celebrate and appreciate, the life that Jason lived, the impact he had on myself for the short time that I knew him, but, his family, the impact that he's had on Pia's life and the children, and then all of you who have known him for, it could be years, it could be months, it could be decades, but just the special magnitude of light that he brought to everybody's life. It's just so powerful. But I say all that to, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna be painful, but hey, spoiler alert, in the end, no matter what happens here, Jesus wins, and we're all going to be reunited again together. And so I just think that, in all of this, just if you always trust God's timing in everything, and you put your faith and trust in eternity, it could make a bit of emotion you're feeling feel a whole lot better. And I found a lot of peace in that. And the last thing I'll share is going through what I did with my brother and being on active duty and losing him. There were a lot of things that when it initially happened, I had all this question about. But I look back to my brother was a believer, and him being a believer really had, a giant influence on my life and becoming a believer and trusting God even through all the hardships. But 2, he loved life, he loved what he did, he loved serving our country. And 3, he knew exactly who he was. And I think that's very important when you look at the life Jason lived. Man, the happiest guy ever, knew exactly who he was, and a loving father, a true professional, especially in the real estate market. The guy was just top of the line. But, he was a lover, a brother, a father, a son to so many people. And that is so important because it makes it more comfortable for everyone else when you're celebrating a life and you get to sit back and go, I don't really think that guy left a stone unturned. And that's, that was just, it speaks a true testament to who Jason was. And Pia, I've been praying for you every day since then, and my family will continue to pray for you. We're going to pray for everyone involved, but hold on to that eternity. Hold on to Christ. Keep him close to you. When things are going tough, lean on him. He's already chosen us, and now we just have to choose him back. And when you choose him back, he will mend this, and it will truly be something that you look back and learn to appreciate the lives lived even more than what we do now. And that's something that years later I see is just how much more I appreciate those people like Jason who were in my life, whether it was for this long or this long, just, the effect that they had on me to continue to be the person that God designed me to be. And if you ever need anything, whatever your family needs, I'm always here for you. My family's always here for you. Our home is always open to you. And I look forward to the next time we cross paths. And I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to me. And again, Luke 16, 22, 2 Corinthians 5, 6 through 8, Luke 16, 19 through 31, Revelation 4 and 5, Revelation 6, 9 and 10, and Luke 9, 28 through 36 it is the absolute truth of that this place, when it's over, there's only one place in heaven. And I know when we all get up there, Jason's going to be one of the first people at the gate waiting for us. So I love you guys. Thank you again for listening to me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.
This is not easy. Jason was my friend. And I'm reminded somewhat of one of my favorite movies, Brian's Song, where they say, we don't think of how you died. We think of how you lived, how you did live. A loving father, a loving husband, a caring individual. Didn't care who you were, he treated you well. And that, my brother, is what Belinda and I will always remember of you. Rest easy, my brother. We'll miss you.
If you still see the person that has pain and heartache and loss and struggle in your past, then you're not looking deep enough. And I want to encourage you to look deep in the mirror and have a real conversation with yourself. Force yourself to think about the strength and the power and the pride that came from all of that history of bad. I promise you it will change your day. I promise you it will change your mindset. So it starts a day at a time. Go out there and crush life.
I remember the first time that I met Jason. It was a business meeting and I was nervous. He was a big-time real estate agent, and I was trying to earn his business. I remember I did my homework. I had my flyers and I had all my information and I was ready. And we started small talk and we talked about family. And before you know it, an hour had passed and lunch was over and we never talked about business. And the check came and I thought, okay, here it comes. He's about to grill me. Here come the tough questions, right? And he looked at me and he said, you know what? I think our families would get along great. And I know that you and Pia would hit it off. And I cannot wait to send you all of my business. It was in that moment that I realized, yes, Jason is successful. He's an amazing entrepreneur and a wonderful real estate agent. But all of that came second to family. And I know that that is one of the biggest reasons that he will be missed.
Jason was a good man. He was a strong man. I admired him a lot. Pia introduced me to him. I would trip on him. I was like, man, like this dude got some drive. I saw him grow and become a man and a father and a leader. That man was a leader. I told her he's probably leading in heaven right now, leading something. Can you imagine Jason not leading anything? No. I know he's looking down and watching over Pia and the boys, and I know he understands that we're a little bit in mourning here. But he does not want us to stop, people. We can't stop, and that's on Jason. Love.
I am so glad that our paths crossed each other because instantly we clicked. We loved to, debate who's the best in sports at the time. He's always focused. I knew right away that he was going to achieve great things in his life because he had that laser focus and dedication to achieving his goals. And that continued on through life, through his service with the Air Force and then on to his professional career. He would tell anybody and everybody who would listen that his greatest achievement, no matter what financially came across, was his family, his wife and his boys. I just would, be grinning ear to ear every time I saw a post of him spending time with them because I knew he was truly happy. He helped people see worthwhile in themselves when they didn't even see any. If he didn't know something, he wasn't afraid to say, I don't know. He saw value in everyone, worthwhile in everyone.
When he stayed the night at my house with my sister and I think he maybe was about 10 or 11 years old. Well, we decided we were going to put makeup on Jason and we colored lipstick on his legs and just were doing girly things. And needless to say, when he woke up the next morning, he was not very happy with his little cousins. But he was just such an amazing kid back then, grew up into an amazing man, and of course he soon forgave my sister and I. So we love you, Jason. We miss you so much, and we love you, Pia, and Liam and Ryan. We're thinking of you guys.
Right off the bat, he was one of the most genuine and kind people and driven people that I'd ever met. No matter if it was 1 week or 1 month that we didn't talk, he was always just right back to where we left off, talking about how proud he was to be a husband to Pia and his kids, to be a father to them. He was so proud of them, so proud to be a husband. Seriously, a great man. He was going to truly be missed.
From the moment we met, we hit it off. He loved and adored Pia, and he loved and adored Ryan and Liam. I feel blessed that I got to work with him on a business level, but more importantly, I'm able to call him and Pia my friends. Fly high, my friend, and rest in peace.
Growing up, we ended up in the same high school, and I was standing there looking at the honor roll photographs, and he walked up behind me and said something about it running in the family. And not only was he smart, but he was a good role model for everyone. I was proud of him, but I was never surprised. I know that his family meant everything to him. It's sad to have him gone, but I know, it's not forever, and we'll see him again.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch.
We became inseparable. We always wanted to be together, and I loved being his big sister. As we got older, our relationship changed. He looked after me as much as I did him now. He could tell if I had a migraine by just looking at my face, and he'd go get me medicine or whatever else I needed. When we were at work, he would come check on me most days, and if I had cramps or anything else going on, he would go get me a Pepsi or a chocolate bar. His dad, Mike, loved him more than anything else in this world. He always called Jason my boy. He would say, "How's my boy doing today?" or "Come here, my boy," and Jason would get a huge smile on his face. Jason was so happy anytime he talked about Pia. He said, "Sis, she's the one. She makes me want to be the best man I can be for her. She pushes me and supports me to go for my dreams. She became his rock, and I will forever be grateful to her." And when Ryan was born, he was so happy. All he could do was talk about how much he looked like him and how smart and kind Ryan was. And he had the same excitement when Liam was born. I love my little brother so much, and I still can't believe he's gone. I know he will be watching over Pia and the boys for the rest of their lives. And Pia, please know I will always be here for you and the boys with whatever you need. I love you guys.
Thank you so much for your friendship the last 6 years, your encouragement, your enthusiasm, everything you've done to help us grow. My mom always told me, never forget those who help you get to where you are. And I will say it for sure, and you already know, and I've told you before, all the success that I've had thus far is 100% because of you. You know, there's been times where I doubted myself, times where I wasn't sure, personal problems, personal issues. I mean, you were there night and day, man. You know, in your absence, even though you're gone, man, we will never, ever, ever, ever be forgotten, man. I'm gonna miss you. I love you. You don't have to worry about the family. God, as well as everyone else, is gonna make sure they will always be good. Thank you so much, man. Take care.
Thinking back over so many of my memories of Jason, the one thing that keeps coming to mind is the same expression he held as a quiet, deep-thinking kid. How can I make life better? I believe he made that a life goal, which is so apparent in the love he gave and shared with all of us, his beautiful wife Pia, and their precious sons Ryan and Liam. This is his legacy.
When he finally relocated to San Antonio, we built a great, I would say a really great friendship. We got really close, and I let him into my inner circle. He met my friends. We made trips to the beach. He allowed me a little into his life as well, and I'd say more than just a little. I remember fondly one specific dinner. He said, "Hey, I want you to meet someone special," and that night I met Pia. As many of you know, we had a wonderful time. She was easy to fall in love with, and I could see why he fell in love with her. Many of you know their love story and how in love he was with Pia, Ryan, and Liam, and we are all witnesses just how beautiful their life was together. But if I had to think of anything else I could tell him, it really wouldn't be anything different, because he knew exactly how I felt about him. He knew that I loved him, I adored him as a little brother and a great friend, and just tell him to keep living his best life and don't let any obstacles stand in his way. And thankful for the memories that he's left me with, and just very blessed to have known him.
When Jason arrived, it very much reminded me of myself, because I had just moved to San Antonio to be with my wife, and I respected that very much. I admired that very much, because I could see the love in his eyes and the dedication that he made. Jason and I played basketball a lot. We used to meet up every weekend and shoot hoops. I just remember it being some of the funnest times of my life. One thing about Jason is he was always, excuse me, he always wanted to elevate you. This is us having dinner in San Antonio. That's Jason and some of my other friends back there, the Peters, Pia, my wife Elizabeth, my beautiful wife Elizabeth, and myself. There's Jason being crazy with Pia and myself. This was actually my 44th birthday party, and I was real honored that they came in and spent time with us. And there he is being goofy to Ryan and Liam. That's you, Ryan. That's me.
Grow up being strong. Be good to your mom. Be good to people. Live your dreams out. Make your dreams come true. And always know that no matter where you are in life, you will always have somebody in your corner that you can reach out to if you need to. Just wanted to say to the Harrimans, to Pia and the boys, Ryan, Liam, hang in there. Elizabeth and I love you very much. We care about you. Rest in peace, Jason Harriman. We love you very much.
Amazing man of God, person of faith, and just a great leader for me and a great friend to me and Nikki. Pia's been a champ and a half. We've talked to Pia multiple times, and her and her family have just been awesome. We're praying for her and her 2 kids, but Nikki?
Just sending lots of love and prayers to you 3, and we will always remember Jason.
All right, guys. Love you very much. We'll see you soon.
We talked about this for a while, and it's about how proud you and I both were with each other. You know, I watched you, and I saw that you had excelled so much in life, man. So much in life. You've built things, created businesses, you know, excelled in real estate. Amazing things for you, for you and your family. You congratulated me, excited about me being a police officer. And we talked about the people that we used to hang out with, the people that we used to know, who didn't move on for what they knew. It was just some didn't grow up, and we did. And I'm forever proud of you, man. I was so blessed to have you support me, and just tell me that you're proud of me. I'm forever proud of you. Forever proud of you, of the things that you've done, the things that you've excelled in, the friendships that you've made that will last forever, and people in this crowd here can tell you the same thing and can vouch for that. You used to talk about, and we sit there and talk about basketball. We used to sit there in the basketball court at Whitman, I used to draw you Michael Jordan. Talk about, growing up now, you talk about who the GOAT was, LeBron James or MJ. Deep down inside, you know that MJ is the GOAT, greatest of all time. And I'm sad that I can't argue and debate with you about that no more, man. Bro, life happens, and it sucks. And I feel bad for you, for your wife, for your kids. I know that you loved her. You expressed that openly and freely. You're proud of her. You guys had beautiful children together. They're going to grow up to be strong men, who love. I was so proud of you because, when I found out that you served the country, this flag of ours here, Pia, like I told you, one day, we'll hook up and we'll meet and we'll talk, tell stories about Jason. Jason has built something huge and has made many contacts, people who have learned to love him, who have fallen in love with him because of his strength, because of his integrity, because of who he is. Okay? Never forget that last name. All right? He is an amazing person. So are you. Been a little too long. I'm sorry, everybody. My apologies. But this is not your time. It's not my time. It's Jason's time. Okay? So, raise up with last, brother. Okay? I love you. Proud of you. I'm proud of who you married. I'm proud of your kids. I'm proud of everything that you have done. Okay? And thank you for having the same feelings about me, okay? For being proud of me also. This to you, man. Cheers, brother.
Jason was my best friend. He was my brother. In fact, we grew up calling each other cousins. He was like the brother I never had. Jason lived a block away from me on North. My dad wasn't very nice, and so we spent a lot of time at Jason's house. And I was really the friend that Jason needed to help Jason fend off Billy. So it worked out really good. My dad was really strict. His mom was not. She was, Debbie was. She used to make us these odd doers, little French hoagie sandwiches. But it was like, I didn't grow up with them. And so it was something I think we all needed. Billy built this crazy bicycle track in the backyard. And in the middle of this chaos, Jason had built this basketball court, you know, the ones you could raise. That's where Jason would reign as the king of the court. Jason was a huge fan of Chris Webber. I've never met anybody that loved Chris Webber like Jason did. Anyways, Jason used to call me a walking GPS. We could never get lost together. We knew every nook and cranny of that city. But to me, Jason was the smartest person that I knew. So his book smarts, my wit, and directional sense carried us out of that neighborhood. After Jason moved in with his dad, he had set me up with a Mormon girl. I ended up baptized. And little did I know, Jason would help forge me with my family history. Family was a pioneer family to help establish the church and help move Zion. For that connection to forge, I am forever indebted to him. Jason loved the women in his life. He adored his mother, his aunts, his grandmother. Jason was a role model in that regard. We grew up in a neighborhood that had a lot of bad kids, a lot of kids that didn't grow up in a real home. And that's one thing that we had in common, is that we had a deep love and revere, even though our circumstances were bleak. He was a flirt, right? But Jason really cared. You know, he wanted you to be happy. He was honest in that regard. He didn't care. After 9/11, the world changed for everybody. He and I were both shocked, angry. We were chomping at the bit to sign up for the military. Unlike Jason, I didn't graduate, and so I wouldn't be able to enlist. And I had a GED, and so they wouldn't accept me. But Jason would go on to the Air Force, and I lived vicariously through him and his service there. We spoke on the phone every single day. When he was supposed to be watching $1 billion aircraft, I'd be on the phone with him while he was playing PlayStation. Don't tell his commanding officers. He loved serving his country. It provided him with an immense sense of pride that would follow him throughout his life. And I was proud of him for that, for doing what he did. Jason would be there when my daughter was born. He helped Amy and I buy our first house, this house we're in right now. It was his, he bought it. And when he moved to Texas, he sold it to us for a loss, actually. Jason was the type of guy that if he had $1, if you were his friend and you were with him, you had 50 cents. You didn't even have to ask. And if you said no, you'd get it anyways. Jason loved to cook. He was a great cook. He was a great cook, and he got that from his dad. Oh, we would go out to his dad's, and we would work chores all weekend just to get the breakfast on Sunday. Jason loved it. He helped his dad make his barbecue sauce. He was infatuated with cooking. He loved it. He was good. He was good at it. Oh, this is Korean barbecue. I remember the day when he asked me if he should move to Texas, and I nearly packed his bags for him. It was the biggest move of his life, and he was head over heels in love with a girl named Pia. From the moment we met Pia, we adored her. and we knew she was the one for Jason. I had never seen Jason so complete, or happy before in my life. We didn't have the best upbringing, right? But we carried on as a result. We found out that our story was really not that bad compared to others out there, and Pia was a huge sense of inspiration for him to swallow his pride and to take that chip off his shoulder and move forward. That was huge for him. But I saw that yoke be removed from him when he moved down there. And when he was with Pia, he was a free man. Spirit and in heart. Watching Jason with his boys and with Pia were probably the proudest moments of my life, apart from the time with my own child. Seeing him build such a wonderful foundation and becoming an incredible father. It's a blessing to see and to experience. A few years ago, I was able to visit Pia and Jason at their home in Texas, and I was amazed by the amount of love that the two of them had fostered in that home. And I knew for a fact those years with his wonderful wife and two boys, handsome boys, were the absolute best years of his life, and he was happy. Thank you for listening, and God bless.
Everything we're going through, one big giant reset. We don't always know why God pushes the reset button. Our jobs are not to question it, but to follow and obey. And I don't know why, and I don't think anybody will for a long time. First of all, it's a reset for us to assess our health, the things that we neglect. As simple as washing our hands, something we learned when we were 3 years old. We take for granted. Everything's happening in the world, as tragic as it is, has forced us to stop, take assessment of where we're at with our life, and decide what we need to do going forward. We're working for years and years and years, and only to come around and say, hey, now I've got my time with my family. Well, all this tragedy in the world has forced us to stop. Take this time to learn and grow with your family. Take this time to appreciate them. Take this time to bond. There's a lot of distractions in the world, right? There's social media, of course. There's TV, there's movies, there's all these other things. And simultaneously, at the same time that God has said, hey, slow down, take this time with your family, take care of your health, He's also taken away a lot of these distractions. For some people, they can't live without it. I love sports, but you know what? After the first couple days, and it was extremely challenging, we started to get into a rhythm, and our family has started to sync up and do things we haven't done before. And I've always taken great pride in what we do as a family and considered ourselves really close, but this has forced a new level of it that I don't think I can be thankful enough for. The economy's tough right now. I'm in sales, real estate sales. I'm in hospitality. So if there's two industries that are really hit right now, those are two of them. Every crisis in the history of this world was met with innovation, because innovation was necessary. Innovation was necessary. We had to innovate following the coronavirus. We had to innovate following these other massive pandemics that have happened in the world. Vaccines became an innovation of the polio and measles era. Adaptability of humans is strong. We've been through so many challenges in the past that innovating through this one is going to be another one that we're going to be able to do. We're going to come out the other side better. Realize and spend time with your family. Grow as a family. Innovate your workplace. Treat your customers a little bit differently in the workplace, right? If you're not starting off every conversation, ask your customer how they're doing, how are they truly doing, how they're managing. And I'll tell you that your business won't be around for long. So, I thought it was really powerful. Guys, this too shall pass. We know that. I think a lot of people say it. You have to choose faith, not fear. You have to spread the message of the light instead of the darkness. It's easy to get caught up in what the media is saying. So take these blessings and just shut it off. Just shut it off. Listen to what God's saying to you. Listen to the messages, the spoken and unspoken words that he's giving. That, hey, maybe it's time to take a step back and spend some time with family. Focus on your health. Reassess your business and innovate. I promise you, if you change the way you look at it, things you look at will change.
Daddy, I love you. I promise to be a good boy, and I always be good for you. And thank you for fixing my armament. I love you.
Hey Daddy, I love you. You're the best daddy ever. Thank you for showing me how to throw the football and also teaching me how to build Legos. You always help me with math problems, and you always said that I looked handsome, and I really appreciate that. I love you. I will miss you so much.